Really trying to crack down on absenteeism, trying to maybe control some costs or so forth, but we do have some people coming to us. But those of us CDL drivers that have been cashing out, you're basically emptying out your bank. Now, it's been discussed that HR might come out with a new policy that if you run out of banked hours, then you're kind of at risk of being, and you need a longer time off, like surgery or something, and you need more than when your hours are banked, correct me if I'm wrong, that they can look at you and maybe knock you down, not making you a full-time CDL driver, but you'll be a sub-bus driver. So you still have a job, but you may not have a big bus, you might be going on a route, and that might not guarantee you so many days a week. So we need to, when you do your cash out this year, if you're doing that, you probably ought to check and see if that's to your advantage or not, just taking it out. So
they're saying if you have surgery, it relates to that, and you don't have enough days to use, you're gonna get dinged for that type of situation?
that's an answer that we're,
That's what FMLA is supposed to be for.
yeah, but it doesn't mean you're gonna lose your job. It may not be.
Yeah, but FMLA
We're
should
gonna
be
we're
filled
gonna
out
clarify
because
some of
you
these
get
details. This came up because a bus driver wanted to know, how come I just can't use a few days here and not have to wait? So I get, like during Christmas, I get a partial check. That's where this all conversation came from.
No, I get that part, I'm just talking about.
FMLA, what it does is it covers you for family medical leave. That includes anybody that's yourself and your immediate family. It does not pay you. FMLA doesn't pay you. All it does is guarantee your job as it was before.
Right.
If you're, what Paul's talking about is if you're somebody that takes a lot of time off that are not medically related, that is what HR is looking at, putting you as the on-call.
Not sub, because
An on-call sub driver. If you take a lot of time off, yes, they can do that. That's what they're looking at.
Important FMLA question, because this way it is at the factory. You were at the factory. You couldn't use FMLA until you burned down your,
Right. That's
both of them. You had to burn all it down before you could apply for, before you
yeah.
could use
And
that.
again, it doesn't change
That's
anything.
that way here?
Yeah.
My previous employer, if you had surgery scheduled, they had you fill out FMLA, and then you had to use
All
all
your
of
sick
your
leave,
sick
any
leave.
paid
And then
time
even
off.
if that
Yes.
runs out during recovery time, you're still fine, and you come back, you just don't get paid.
Right, that's the law. That's not gonna change. It's just, if it's stuff that you're taking off that's not medically related. So if you're going on ski trips, that's not covered.
The thing about FMLA that people don't know is you've got to get in like 1,240 hours before you can apply for FMLA. And usually that puts us in about February or March.
It goes, it's from 1 year exact from the day before.
Right.
But again, FMLA doesn't pay anything. If you want that, that's where you get the supplemental income insurance. FMLA just means that I had surgery, I run out of time, I'm not getting fired, I'll just have to come back to my job as it was when I left. It may not be like it does, it may not be the same route. but
Ask
you come
him.
back as a CDL driver.
I don't
That's
know.
what it covers. So what we're talking about is things that are not covered under FMLA or law. So if you're taking time off to go to Kansas City or go to spring break training for to watch the Royals, that stuff it doesn't cover. You get 16 equivalent days a year. You get half at the beginning and half at the midpoint. The 16 days are your scheduled work days, whether it's a 3, 6, or 8-hour day. That's what your hours are. So if I say 16 days for a full-time driver that doesn't do any shuttles, it's 6 hours. So you get 16 times 6. If you're a half-day person, you get 16 times 3. Does that make sense?
Okay, so the main thing is for CDL drivers, if you're planning on cashing out like I've done forever, you might want to talk to Chris if that's okay, just to see what the ramifications are when you do that, if you need extended time off after that. So some people I know never cash out and they've got a nice bank. My bank usually ends up at zero. But I'm changing that, but that's just me personally. But anyway, talk to him if you have questions about
I
that.
only have 280.
If it was an automatic thing that you guys were doing every year. Air-conditioned buses, we talked about air-conditioned buses at the schools, leaving the buses running to have air conditioning on. Sped buses are allowed to keep their air conditioners on, but the other buses, some of the route buses now have air conditioners, and it was determined that if you're waiting at schools for students to get on and off, and you're gonna be there for any length of time, turn your bus off and cut down on the heat that's gonna be generated from the exhaust going on and so forth. So if it's a quick drop and go, not a big deal, but you're gonna be there for a few minutes or so, all buses will need to be turned off. I know there was a question about what about winter? That's a different subject. We're talking about the air conditioning right now.
It was the wind, everybody relax.
Tony said it was the wind. Relax, I'm gonna move on.
I think it's gargoyle on the ceiling.
Okay. Next subject, white fleet. Subject came up, do white fleets need to stop at railroad crossing, the cars and vans? No, they don't. I think one thing that came up, if a CDL is driving the white van, does he need to stop or she need to stop because it has a CDL license? No. Actually, it puts those vehicles more at a risk of getting rear-ended because cars aren't expecting anybody just to stop that's basically not a school bus or a semi-truck carrying fuels and so forth. Next subject, I'm trying to move along. Radio communication, think before we talk in the mic. We got a lot of new trainees, new drivers out there, especially the smaller buses. Please be courteous and patient when you talk to them. They may not know all the little tiny rules that we all know about where to park and so forth. So if you need to talk to somebody afterwards and kind of tell them something, just maybe hold off, write the bus number down, talk to them personally, and don't make any new driver nervous because they're trying just to learn the job. If you have a longer conversation, like a mechanical problem, park somewhere and call the mechanic's office, use your phone, which you're now getting paid for, right?
No.
He's trying.
I'm trying.
Okay, we did go, the district had individual groups meet with a third party, talk about communication. The bus department here, communication-wise, we're doing really good with being able to communicate with a lot of people, tell them what's going on, what's up to date. We kind of have to because of our job, but some of these departments, they were not happy about their communication levels. We talked about the power cords into your mailboxes. One of them has a blue tape on it, one not. I think the blue tape is for the scanners. The non-blue tape, that's for your tracker because evidently it has a little more power in it.
More power or less power?
We talked about
Blue tape?
Kadive and Academy Streets. There's a new little building being built. Thought it was a garage, but I don't think it's a garage now. The ice cream store is going to be on Academy Street whenever it gets done, close to Moxie. We're still trying to get maybe no parking in the morning and afternoon so buses can get out. If a bus hits an animal, if it's a small animal, you can hit your panic button. But if you feel you need to call it in, just do it on your phone. Don't talk about it so the little kids hear it. I guess a deer or another large animal that may cause bus damage, we're still doing that on the radio because you may have bus damage. Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna
A
be
large
hard.
animal, call it in because you may have damage, you may need a new bus. A little animal, and just push your panic button if you want to call it in because the owner of the animal may want to know what's going on. So if it was an accident, if it was. Skyward Finance, those show you how many hours you have banked. At MSC, talk about there's a rock and there's a large hole there, but they talk about it's being done by Clearwater and Renwick, small buses, not our buses. So we're talking about maybe getting that whole field for you guys. And don't forget, we have one more meeting on May 13th, maybe rescheduled. If you guys have any ideas or questions, we've got the box out there. Go ahead and put it in. This is all from you guys. So that's it from me. Thanks for listening.
Okay,
a couple more things that came up at the TAC meeting. Minibuses. If a minibus has a left turn signal on, it means I'm ready to go, let me in. I've been watching in the mornings. You guys have been doing really good about letting big little minis in when they're ready to go, and they're showing you their left turn signals. If they've got their hazard on, it's okay to pass?
No.
Hazards is okay to pass on a minibus. That tells you I'm just waiting for a para, I'm waiting for kids to settle down. Go ahead and pass. If the stop arm is out on a minibus and you're in lineup, something's going on. Don't pass them. There's a lot of elopers. I've learned that's a new word. That means they're running, jumping off the bus and running. If their stop sign's out, it's on purpose. Please don't pass them.
Can I ask a question right here? So sometimes people, pray with me, forget and leave that, it's out, okay? And I'm coming right next to them. So they also don't want you to get on the radio and talk that kind of stuff. So what's the fix?
You can call on the radio for that. Say, hey, 231, you got your stop sign out. Okay, and they turn it off, or they've got an emergency, they've got something going on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just short and sweet, you know, hey, why, you got your stop on.
Don't block the crosswalks. That came up at TAC as well. So I watched, I went over, took a couple pictures. You guys did an excellent job at MIS and at Pray Whitman. Nobody hung over the sidewalk or went past the sidewalk. I know the issue there is sometimes a parent gets in there, or we get kind of cattywampus on the buses at MIS. It's okay. Just don't block the crosswalk. If you accidentally do it, or if you don't think you have enough clearance on the other side, just don't pull past it. It's okay. I've watched, like I said, I've been watching in the mornings. We have room at the end of there. Pulling into MIS, there hasn't been anybody hanging out over there. One thing I am going to mention, though, there are a lot of us pulling across and stopping traffic going south on 119th. So make sure that you've got enough clearance at MIS when you're pulling in to unload kids. Make sure you've got enough clearance before you pull over. That happened this morning, that we were blocking traffic for a minute or two until we all pulled up because it was a little bit slow going in. That's a little scary. So medic first aid and CPR is on the 27th. Check your cards. Check with Sarah, check with me, if you need to know if you expire before the end of the year or by August. Our next one is August 13th, so if you need to take it and it expires sometime soon, get in there and get it taken care of. That's your dates. 27th, first from 1 to 5 is preventive driving, and the 27th is, or the CPR is 8 to 12 on 27th. Got it? Okay, Tony, you got a question for us?
Everybody's seen the little forms that you fill out that you give to your parents if it's okay to use their house as a tornado shelter. So they're hanging in the hallway out by the sign that's got all the tornado pictures. If you have a route that you don't have any, say you're going to Blackstone, I mean, there's no stores, nothing over there. It's all residential, so you need to have places you can stop if there's a tornado. So you need to get these forms filled out and then mark on your maps so that the sub-drivers know. I guess that was my question, wasn't it?
That was supposed to be in the form of a question.
It was supposed to be in the form of, how do the sub-drivers know where your tornado shelter is?
Around the house.
What's that?
You put a red outline around the house, that's how you mark it.
Yep,
What color is it supposed to be?
red.
A red outline around your house for your tornado shelter, so a sub picks up your maps and knows. So we'll work out on Travel Tracker to find out how we're gonna put a notice on there for tornadoes. If you're out 135th, fire station works, YMCA works.
There's a church right there.
Church right there. Yes.
I have a question, for checking maps, we'll start checking for that. How do we know if that form was filled out?
It should be in your subfolder. You should have your forms in your subfolder, or if you're on your map page, outline that house in red, make the phone numbers right there, so that you're not digging for information, for permission slips. So don't keep those permission slips in the subfolders, let's keep them in your red folders in your bus. But do mark it on your subfolders. The slips are for permission, so you send it home with your kids, they bring it back to you, that's all you have to do. If anybody, you have to have a parent that's 18 years or older at that house for you to unload your kids into their basement. So a lot of them come back, a lot of them will volunteer, but they don't have parents home. You can't go into a house that does not have parents in it. Yes?
So how do you know if a church is open? Or
Well,
gonna
I-
let you in, because I've got a church that I'm in,
Yeah, you
on
know,
one end of my
make a
route.
phone call to a secretary at a church, make a phone call, leave a message, have them get back with you. If their doors are shut, a lot of times their front doors are locked, so you won't be able to use that. So you need to make a plan is the whole point. Make a plan beforehand. If you're close to the school, go back to the school. That's the best plan. They all have tornado shelters. And Kim and Patty put the maps up there of where those tornado shelters are located. So you pull your bus to that entrance and then go in that entrance. And we'll be notifying you. We're going to be on the radio saying, hey, if you're in this area, pull over, take shelter. Yeah. Yes.
So my house is on route, and I want my house to be, I'm the one going in.
I think so. Absolutely. Yeah.
If you text the parent and they said yes for sure, can we fill out that form? Because I did send it home and I never got back, but I have confirmation through a text.
Just put on there via text, that way we know how you got it.
If my house is on another bus driver's route, am I allowed to let them use?
If you're there. Is somebody there?
My mom's always is.
Okay, so that would be a phone call probably to mom. I don't want to call you and then have you call mom and then have the other call her, call you, and then call me. We don't want to, it's going to be a quick thing. So, yeah. Yes.
In years past, when the sirens have gone off, neighbors have been standing outside and say, hey, unload the bus here. You get a lot of help if residents are outside and the sirens go off. They'll be like, unload the bus here.
Yeah, I would wait for communication from the office. Tell them what you're doing, where you're at. We can see that on Travel Tracker. So we'll be communicating. It won't be a spur of the moment kind of thing like Right. Okay, got one more about tornadoes?
The new weather policy disclosed the area that they think the tornado may occur in. So our district is pretty wide. Are you guys gonna announce it on the radio that a tornado's in there and maybe help locate where it might be at?
In the direction it's traveling.
Okay.
Yep. Is there one more? Yes.
Like, I'm not sure of the process I need to do, like, I've got my slips back to my parents, what do I do then? Just circle the house in red?
Circle the house in red and put the phone number right there. Somewhere on that map for that tornado shelter, so that the sub can call that that number without having to dig too much further.
So circle the house in red and put the phone number there.
Yeah. All right. Next trainer question.
On a minibus wheelchair bus, which lights do you use when loading a student?
Do you use?
Hazard punctures.
B. Always use your red lights, stop arm,
Are you talking about, I'm talking about a wheelchair.
wheelchair, yeah.
Okay, well then, we don't do that.
Yeah, none of the minis do that. I got yelled at for them. Well, not yelled at, but I got talked to pretty much about my life.
If you have questions about that, come and see me, we'll talk about it, okay? But yeah, don't use your hazards, and you definitely have to use lights.
It's a student stop. Why would you not?
Okay, we're gonna move on. Wheelchair securement training, we're already in our house, so I'm trying to go fast. Wheelchair securement training is May 14th. It's from 9 to 12. So after the round, any para, any sub, And any minibus driver needs to have the wheelchair securement training, and you need to have it every year. If you've noticed over in the corner, Vanna over here is sitting on a wheelchair training securement platform that we have been generously given for, well, we've given, but for our training. Dennis from Topeka is going to be here, and he's going to go over that. If you've done it before, it only lasts a year. Your certification only lasts for a year, and if there's any changes, you need to come and find out how to secure somebody on a wheelchair. Okay, Alicia.
So it's that time of year again, guys, we have the rodeo coming up, the regional, rodeo, coming. And it's at Derby, Derby High School on 920 Rock Road. I'd like to see, I know Michelle's coming back, right? Yes? And so I'd like to see Richard come back. Is he in here?
He's on his route.
Oh, he's on his route, darn it. Because, yeah, it's like they can fight for whatever. We also have Dorothy that's going to come. We also have, who's the other one? Jennifer. Mom. Yeah, they're all coming. And so we're going to be practicing next week.
Did Deb win it last year, 6?
I'm not sure.
Oh, she won the one we did.
Oh, yeah, yeah. This is actually regional, it's a big one, yeah. And we're gonna be practicing over at Impact, and we'll probably have it set up Tuesday when we get back from our little break. And so come on over. We're gonna let the people who are actually going to the rodeo practice first. But if you wanna come try out your skills again and see how well you can do with some of this stuff, come on over. But, you know, let's let the people who are actually going to the rodeo practice first. But I'd be glad to kind of hang out and let you come over and try it out. Oh, there is a deadline. Fill out this paperwork. On the back of it has a little form. You need to have it back to me by Friday. So please
Day after tomorrow?
Yes, the day after tomorrow. Give it back to me so that way we can let them know that we're coming.
Thank you, Joy.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Joyce. Thank you.
This is volunteer.
Only.
It's not paid.
Right.
You can use your equipment, but it's not paid.
But it's fine. Now for training, will they?
No.
No, not even, or not even for practice? If they're gonna be in a bus?
We're representing Mays.
Okay, okay,
It's a volunteer thing.
got it, okay.
I would like to see it that if you participate, you get a pay raise. If you participate, and because you're honing in your skills, you're doing more work to try and improve your skills, I'd like to see the compensation come in from the district.
I'm with you.
But for the actual event, we will not pay for it. They won't pay for it.
That's something that TAC we need.
Can you do it with a buddy?
A buddy, you should go.
You should go too. I want her to go with you. I'm talking about me and Lauren. No, like for emotional support.
No, they won't let you do that.
So only one person on the bus?
Okay, we're moving on. If you have any questions about rodeo, if you want to fill out the forms, registration deadline is Friday. Got to make a quick decision. It's fun. It takes all day on Saturday, but they have food trucks there. It is really fun to go and see what you can do. I took second place the first year I did it, and trust me, the hiring pool was, or the winning pool was probably pretty low. So you can participate as a rookie if you've never done it, or you can be an experienced.
You guys gonna take side bets?
Yes. Okay, summer school. If you're driving for summer school, pay attention. You have to be at this meeting if you're driving for summer school, June 4th. Parents and drivers. We're gonna take a bus to Mount Hope like we did last year and let the nurse certify us and everybody that's going to summer school. You have to be here for this. Just a note on summer school too, if you have a vacation plan, please don't sign up to drive for summer school. I don't want you there half time. I don't want you to have to be gone this day, and this day. That's tough. We don't have the sub pool in the summer to draw from. So that means I have to get somebody to cover you. So please, if you're gonna do for summer school, make sure you're there the whole time, please.
What time is
We
it?
know the weeks.
We don't know the time yet. I talked to the nurse yesterday. She does not know the time yet. I have not gotten that information back, and I'll get it to you as soon as I do. Okay?
Hey, Joy, I think, I'm just saying, and they may have told you different, but I have, because I'm gonna para out there, and I believe the email that I got is at 8 to noon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's from
Okay.
8 to noon.
Probably, that's what it was, I think, yet last year. Okay, I have the calendar. It's 2 weeks in June, or it's 3 weeks in June and 2 weeks in July, for summer school. And Sarah?
Is that an everyday?
No.
It's no Monday through Thursday, and it's only, you're done about 1 o'clock.
3 weeks.
And you need to get with Kathy if you want to do it.
You guys were talking about the parking situations with the buses at the schools. Here, was it a couple weeks ago, I was off one afternoon over on the east side, and if you want to see a nightmare of a school with buses, go over to Wichita Northeast Magnet over there at 53rd and Rock Road. I swear there was 100 buses in that parking lot waiting for pickup.
You only saw one side, on the back side.
Yeah, and I only saw the front side. I tried to get turned around and get back over there to get to the parking lot to take a picture. And by that time, kids were already coming out, so I couldn't even get close to it. I swear that. Yes, exactly. Put your complaint. Exactly. It could be a lot worse. I really don't have a whole lot of stuff. There are 2 thank you cards over there. I forgot to pull the second one out because we had 2 schools donate. So if you only signed the first one, if you guys want to later today or after the meeting, sign the other thank you card. Oh, and just a quick reminder, I know Kathy said you can park at maintenance, but if you need to park over there, park north of there, over by the baseball fields. Because when people come over and use this room for their little meetings and stuff, if our parking lot's full, they first go over there and park. And then the guys don't have room to park when they come back from lunch, or if they have to go somewhere, and then they get grumpy. So, but you've got to keep the mechanics happy, folks. So don't park at maintenance. We have a brand new employee. She just started today and went to orientation. Stand up, Julia. In the works to drive CDL, correct? So if you see her around about, say hi.
Hey.
We have a visitor. This is Anna. Ann. She's a para at Mays South High School. She is thinking about maybe wanting to come work with us. So she is here to speak to Kathy, and she joined in our meeting just to see what everything was about. She's shy. But the other thing I was going to quickly mention, I know Kathy talked about our wall thing. I got to looking more at all the hundreds of pictures he sent me, and there's lots of repeats. So during our fall meetings, our back to school meetings, I'm going to make every one of you stand in the hallway and have your picture taken. We're just going to do it ourselves. So it'll eventually get done, maybe. Yeah, maybe make it easier, yeah.
Can we pay you so we don't have to?
No.
I do not take good
I will
pictures.
contact your mother and get a picture. I have basketball pictures of you.
That's okay.
Yes, so I'll use one of those if I have to. Speaking of Jairus, Casey shared on Facebook this morning that Goodwill Industries reshared their story about him from a couple years ago.
Yes.
So she had shared that, so. Didn't they do a news story about you?
I thought they did.
Well, this one was dated 2023, the one that they shared, so maybe they're gonna have the new one come out, but, that's really all I think I have. I think we've talked about everything else, or somebody else has talked about it.
Get out. They got the guys up there in the dress.
So mine will be pretty quick and sweet. First thing, one, we're getting towards the end of the year. Some of the paperwork's getting a little sloppy. We're missing days of mileages, we're not writing down our numbers again, or the days of week. Please continue to put your names on it, fill out the paperwork correctly, okay? We are slowly but surely integrating it, or we're separating for subs and paras and all sorts of stuff, so it'll be a little easier for everybody. Two, I'd like to give a huge shout out to the drivers that have been helping. Trips have been crazy. I don't know if you can pull up our little, you know how we have the calendar, the blue and the green and whatnot. We have days where orange is our morning, green is our afternoon, and that's just the call-outs. And then there's blue. That's me. 15 trips, 25 trips. That's not counting my whiteboard. I've got people pulling doubles. They're coming in, they're running a route, going on, doing this, coming back, running a route, going back out. Yesterday was huge. I had a driver call and say he couldn't come in, and I had Shannon, she took over his portion of it, and then Richard caught hers, and I heard they got caught up in a mess because the track team was late. I apologize to Richard, but they managed to get it done. I've got all sorts of people coming out of the woodworks, drivers. Lauren's been picking up, Debbie Weaver's been picking up. I mean, just, you guys have been helpful. So when they say that we are shorthanded, and Joy is going to kill me if I take any more of her subs. So, seriously, it all flows together, guys.
If you can pick up some activity trips, besides those names, see Deb, she could probably use you here and there, so.
Especially towards the end of the school year, I'm running people ragged here. They are pulling double duty. Tosh, everybody, huh? It is very, very much worse, and honestly, like I said, it goes hand in hand with that. Go ahead, John.
Apologize for jumping in here, but, and Kathy already talked about it, I apologize to the rest of you, but that board that's out in the hallway there with all the assignments, don't touch that. That's not for you guys to take your name off and put it somewhere else and I'll switch with you and do the stuff. That's not allowed. If you wanna switch with somebody, bring it up to one of the administrators and they'll take care of Chris or Joy or Kathy. Don't be switching stuff on there because then you screw up a lot of other stuff, you don't even know what's going on.
And that's what the trips too. I mean, I know a lot of you will come to me and, hey, I've already talked to so-and-so, but you guys come to me and tell me. And then we change the paperwork, we get this, because I notated on the calendar. Because it's not cool that I leave at 2 and it says John Swope's running a trip when it's actually Shannon, and Shannon's supposed to be over here. Well, Richard's over here and Shannon's over here and John Swope's missing. That's not gonna do those guys any good. They're gonna be like,
Deb, what did you do?
pretty much.
And take the vehicle you're assigned.
A lot of people don't understand how we integrate between the subs, trip drivers, and the routes. We plan really hard to make it work where I'm not stepping on Joy and she's not stepping on me, and sometimes you're a few minutes late, sorry. But we try and make it work. So, and that's the other thing.